She's on the couch and she screamed. And I run in and she said, "Mom, it's burning."
Rachel Pisani showed me pictures of the deep red chemical burn marks on her daughter's skin. Natalie, who just celebrated her 15th birthday, was 11 and fighting through medical procedures for a congenital heart condition.
The LifeVest.
While she was waiting for a pacemaker, a doctor prescribed the LifeVest made by Zoll Medical. It's a wearable defibrillator that should have restarted her heart if she went into cardiac arrest. Instead, her mother says it failed half a dozen times, starting for no reason, each time dispensing the pre-shock gel that burned Natalie's skin.
The pads get hot, you know, against the skin. It burnt the skin. She's freaked out. She's a tough kid. She's crying. And the kid is frightened to death. You know, I mean, literally.
She's either waking up in the middle of the night wondering if she's having a cardiac event,
You got it.
or she's worried that she's going to end up with more burns and more pain.
You got it.
But an FDA database shows thousands of complaints alleging the LifeVest malfunctioned. The FDA calls them inappropriate defibrillation events. Rachel is among the dozens of people who reported burns or rashes. Separate from the problems Rachel experienced, last year Zoll issued a device recall for LifeVest after a patient died. Zoll and the FDA warned of a potential lack of treatment or shock delivery due to a device failure. Patients were told to be aware of a call for service message code 102, which could indicate a malfunction. The warning indicates the failure could cause serious harm or death. In a statement on its website, Zoll's president says a software revision corrected the problem. But the company is still facing wrongful death lawsuits in Florida and Illinois from families of patients who say the LifeVest failed to deliver a shock during cardiac arrest. Zoll denies any wrongdoing and is contesting the lawsuits. Dr. Mark Estes is a Pittsburgh cardiologist who specializes in arrhythmia.
There have been instances in which the patients have died suddenly with the device in place, and there's been questions as to whether the device actually detected any arrhythmia or not.
What's more, a first-of-its-kind medical study last year compared at-risk cardiac patients who wore a LifeVest with those who did not. The arrhythmic death rate within 90 days was 1.6% for the patients wearing a LifeVest and 2.4% for those without a vest. The study found the LifeVest did not lead to a significantly lower rate of the primary outcome of arrhythmic death. Dr. Estes reviewed the study.
And there was no difference at the end of the day in the primary outcome of dying from the arrhythmia between those with the device and those without the device.
Zoll declined multiple requests for an interview, but the company pointed to another study funded by Zoll that said the LifeVest was 96% effective at treating patients who suffered a rapid, life-threatening heart rhythm. Zoll connected us with a patient.
Well, it saved my life.
David Smith was asleep, wearing the vest, when the alarm went off, waking his wife.
By the time she was calling 911, the LifeVest administered a treatment. If not for my vest, my wife would be here as a widow. I wouldn't be here talking to you.
But after Natalie Pisani's frightening experience, her mother believes the risk from LifeVest is too great.
They should be pulled until this can be redesigned and fixed correctly.
Greg Fox, West 2 News.
The Food and Drug Administration approved LifeVest in 2001, and Zoll says it has been prescribed more than 35,000 times.